Welcome to our channel where we dive into the darkest corners of the world to bring you spine-chilling tales. Tonight, we journey to the misty shores where the veil between our world and the next grows thin. A place where the air hangs heavy with the scent of salt and the unspoken dread of the sea. Today we have something truly eerie for you. 3 creepy legends from haunted Ferris horror stories. So dim the lights, sit back and prepare to be terrified. Picture this. A dense fog has settled over the water, swallowing the world in an eerie silence. The only sound is the gentle lapping of waves against the hull of a lone ferry, its lights cutting through the oppressive darkness like feeble beacons in the night. But something isn't right. The air grows heavy, thick with an unseen presence. A chill crawls down your spine, raising goosebumps on your arms. You're not alone. This is the story of Captain Elias Thorne, a man as stubborn as the sea itself. He captained his vessel, the Lady Mary, with an iron fist, challenging storms and navigating treacherous waters with unwavering confidence. But the sea, they say, demands respect, and one fateful night it claimed Captain Thorne and his beloved Lady Mary in a raging tempest. Now legend has it that Captain Thorne's tormented soul remains forever bound to the ferry he refused to abandon. Some whisper of a spectral figure on the bridge, a silhouette of a man in a weathered captain's hat, his hand gripping the helm even in death. Others claim to hear the ghostly clang of the ship's bell, a mournful toll echoing through the fog, a warning lost in the wind. They say on nights when the fog is thickest, the ghostly captain walks the decks of ferries that dare to cross his watery grave. Passengers report a sudden drop in temperature, an icy breath against the back of their necks, and the overwhelming feeling of being watched. Some even claim to see shadowy figures moving on the periphery of their vision, vanishing as quickly as they appear. One chilling account tells of a young couple traveling on a ferry shrouded in fog. As they stood on the deck, the young woman felt a cold hand on her shoulder and turned to see an apparition of Captain Thorne, his face contorted in a silent scream, his eyes burning with an eerie, otherworldly light. The couple fled in terror, seeking refuge in the crowded passenger cabin, but the feeling of dread followed them, clinging to them like the cold, damp air. Some believe the ghostly captain searches for souls lost at sea, desperate to break free from his watery purgatory. So the next time you find yourself aboard a ferry, shrouded in mist and silence, remember the tale of Captain Thorne. The old ferry terminal stood at the edge of the town, a brooding sentinel against the relentless assault of the sea, its paint peeled, revealing the rusted bones beneath, and its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out across the harbor, holding secrets whispered on the wind. Locals knew to avoid the ferry after dark, for it was said that the vessel carried more than just the living. The story begins with a seemingly ordinary day. The ferry, christened the Evening Star, was brimming with life. Families returning from seaside holidays, businessmen heading home after long trips, and young lovers whispering sweet nothings as they gazed out at the water. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the deck, a strange stillness settled over the Evening Star. It began subtly, a sense of unease that crept in with the evening chill. Passengers reported feeling a sudden drop in temperature, their breath misting in the air despite the mild weather. Whispers of cold air brushed against their skin, and the hairs on the back of their necks stood on end. Then, the whispers began. Faint at first, like the rustling of leaves, but growing steadily louder, more insistent. Passengers strained to make out the words, their hearts pounding in their chests. Some claimed to hear their names being called, their blood running cold at the sound of their own voice echoing from the unseen. As darkness enveloped the ferry, the whispers morphed into disembodied voices, a chorus of the unseen, lamenting their fate. Passengers huddled together, their faces pale with terror, as the phantom voices swirled around them, a chilling symphony of despair. Then, the unthinkable happened. One by one, passengers began to vanish. A young boy playing near the railing disappeared without a trace, his toy boat left bobbing in his wake. An elderly woman dozing in her seat simply vanished, leaving behind only an empty chair and a half-finished cup of tea. Panic gripped the remaining passengers. They searched frantically for their missing companions, their cries of fear swallowed by the growing darkness. But it was no use. The vanished souls were gone, swallowed by the ferry itself, their presence lingering like a chilling stain. The evening star, once a symbol of connection and travel, transformed into a vessel of fear, forever haunted by the souls lost within its depths. Some say the phantom passengers are trapped between worlds, unable to move on, their tormented souls forever searching for a way out. Chapter 3. The Cursed Ferry. Nestled among the chain of islands, shrouded in folklore and whispered tales of misfortune, lay a ferry unlike any other. The locals called her the Siren's Lure, though her original name had long been lost to time and the relentless whispers of the sea. But it wasn't her name that sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned sailors. It was the chilling reputation that clung to her like barnacles to her hull. The Siren's Lure, they said, was cursed. No one knew for sure when or how the curse took hold. Some spoke of a vengeful sea witch, her heart broken by a lover lost at sea, and cursed the ferry to know only sorrow and despair. Others whispered of a deal with a dark entity, a pact made in desperation, paid for in souls lost beneath the waves. Whatever the origin, one thing was certain: misfortune followed the Siren's Lure like a shadow. It wasn't just one or two isolated incidents. It was a relentless string of bad luck that defied all logical explanation. Engines failed without warning, plunging the ferry into darkness and leaving passengers stranded at sea. Navigation system went haywire, causing near collision with rocky shoals and other vessels. And then there were the disappearances. Passengers, seemingly invisible spirits, vanished without trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions, chilling horror. Their belongings remained untouched, their means and army dead. Rumors spread like wildfire. Sailors refused to serve aboard her, citing an overwhelming sense of dread that washed over them whenever they set foot on her deck. Potential buyers, enticed by her low price, would back out at the last minute, their rational minds unable to shake the feeling of unease that clung to the ferry like a shroud. Even those who scoffed at the stories, dismissing them as mere superstition, couldn't deny the palpable sense of unease that permeated the very air around the Siren's Lure. It was as if the vessel itself emanated a palpable aura of misfortune, a tangible manifestation of the darkness that clung to her. One particularly harrowing tale told of a group of friends who dared to challenge the curse. They boarded the Siren's Lure, armed with nothing but their skepticism and a few bottles of liquid courage. They laughed off the stories, their bravado fueled by alcohol and youthful arrogance. They even went so far as to mock the curse, their voices echoing through the empty ferry. But their laughter died in their throats as the ferry, seemingly of its own accord, veered sharply off course. Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey through haunted ferries. The water may seem serene, but as we've learned tonight, there are depths to the sea that hold secrets best left undisturbed. The stories we've shared serve as chilling reminders that the line between our world and the next can be thin, especially when we venture into places where shadows linger and whispers of the past echo through the darkness. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. Until next time, stay safe and beware of the shadows.